All right, first off, let me say, I promise that the Monday videos won't all be this long, but it's opening week and I have a lot to cover, so I apologize in advance for the length. I am the screen recorder program that I use only has 15-minute increments, so I apologize. Okay, so the course syllabus. It's super important, again, as I mentioned before, that you read through the syllabus because that really does kind of hold and explain and really kind of reveal who I am as a teacher, I think. But more importantly, it goes over the policies, and those are going to be really important for you to know. So the reflection is an opportunity for you to kind of read through those activities, through those policies, and then to give your feedback on them. In this reflection assignment, you can also ask questions, and I'll be able to answer in Canvas. So make sure that you ask any questions that you want, and I will definitely try to answer them to the best of my ability. One thing that I do want to show you here, just so that you're clear, right? So you'll see that this reflection, this activity is due on Friday, and Friday is the 28th, right? It's due by 7:59 p.m. Most of the assignments are due at 7:59 p.m. And the reason that I do that is because I don't want to have a due date of 11:59 p.m. and then have you feel like I'm actually saying it's okay for you to be up until midnight doing these activities and things. I don't want you to feel like you have to be up in the middle of the night to complete stuff. So all of my times are 7:59 p.m. But, and I mentioned this in the syllabus, is that this available until, this is your grace period, okay? So the grace period is until Saturday at noon. So typically when you have an activity that's due, let's say it's due Wednesday by 7:59 p.m., it's going to be available to you until Thursday at noon. So there's always going to be a grace period for everything. For the essays, the grace period is usually about 2 days after the assignment is due. And the reason that I do that is because excuse me, life happens. We get busy. You know, sometimes you might just miss the deadline. There's no point deductions, because there's no points, but there's no penalty. Canvas will mark it as late, but that's irrelevant. It doesn't really even matter. But you have that available until time to really get your activities and assignments in. So if you on Friday night, it's 10 p.m. and you're like, holy I missed my assignment. It's okay. You can still get it in. You have that available until. So always kind of be looking at your dates of when something is due, but when it's available until, right? I just wanted to show you that. Okay. So that's the reflection. And then you'll see that each week you're going to have an engage, and the engage literally is, that's where I want you to engage with each other. Right now it's going to be a little bit of a clunky start because we don't know each other yet and we're not talking about literature yet, but my hope is that once we get into the books, some of our discussions will be a little bit more robust. All of our engagements will be on Discord. So again, you need to go back, make sure that you have enrolled in the right class, the right server on Discord, and you'll find that there are these kind of categories, and one of them is called weekly engagement, and that's just going to be listed by week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I would encourage you to not make this a stale, one-sided conversation, as in, you know, don't just go in there and post your thing and then be like, cool, I'm done for the week, right? The goal eventually is to kind of get into a habit of staying in that conversation. So Discord is something, and I think Discord's really good for that, right? Because you can put it on your phone. You can choose what level of notifications you want to get, because Discord can also give you crazy notifications if you want. And I think that, again, once we get into the book, to like really talk about the book, right? That's the one thing I'm going to miss the most about being online, is that, you know, I really want to talk about this book, and how do we do that in an online space without it feeling forced and without people feeling like they have to meet a word count, right? I just think that sometimes that can be really stifling. So anyway, we'll see how this goes, but you have 2 Discord engagements this week. The first one is just basically your introduction, and then your second one has to do more with kind of the big L versus little L literature, and just kind of thinking about yourself and who you are as a reader. You'll notice that on any of the class activities, I give you a little resources you might need. So this is kind of a reminder to you that, oh, if you haven't read these assignments yet, to do that, or these pages yet, if you haven't read about Discord yet, make sure you do that. So again, on these engagement pages, you'll see that there are little reminders of what you should have read to prepare for this activity. All right, the next thing, and then I promise we're almost at the end, is the writing territories. So make sure you've read this page. If you read the syllabus page on practice writing, then you already know a little bit about writing territories. I think they're so important. In fact, I think that they're probably one of the most important things that we do in this class. Yes, you're going to write essays, and yes, we're going to read, but I think the writing territories, they're really kind of the heart of the class. And that's because they are your opportunity to practice and to just kind of get to know yourself as a writer. And I think that that is just so important. Students typically, and you'll see at the very end of this page, some students, you know, they look at these writing territories and they're like, ugh, what a drag, I have to write every week. But by the end, they love them. The goal is for you to feel like someone asks you to write something and you're like, yeah, okay, I can do that, to make you a more confident writer, right? So in sum, a writing territory is due every week, every Friday, beginning this week through the entire semester. You can write about whatever you want, more or less. They have to be at least 300 words. You can read the rest of kind of the requirements and the details, but it's really an opportunity for you to strengthen that writing muscle, right? Again, kind of I liken it to if you've ever practiced for a sport, right? You don't go from signing up to play the sport to suddenly playing in a game like that. It's like magic doesn't happen there, right? You have to practice in between. And I think one of the biggest services we do for students is that we sign them up at the beginning of the class and then we're like, bam, here's your first essay. And you're like, well, wait a minute, where's my practice, right? And so the writing territories are your practice. I could, of course, say more and more about those, but make sure you've read this page so that way when I talk about bad piano, you know what I'm talking about there. So then you have your first writing territory due. Again, all the writing territories are due by Friday with that, again, that grace period. I gave you a little bit more grace period this first go round just because, you know, it's a busy time. So there's that. And then that's it, actually. You shouldn't be able to see that quite yet. That's the end of our very first week in this class. So I hope that you're excited about reading. Announcements about the books. These are all in the syllabus and everything. The very first book that we're going to read is a graphic novel called Barefoot Gen 1. It's really important that you make sure you get number 1. This is a series. So if at the end of this you decide you want to keep reading it, I would encourage you to. It's really good. But Barefoot Gen 1. You need this by the end of the first week of February. So at the end of week 3, we're going to be in this book. So this is the one we're reading first. After that, the end of the first week of March, you need to have Homegoing by Yajiasi. This book is fabulous. I love it. I hope that you love it, or I hope that you can at least appreciate it. Anyway, first week of March. This one you need much sooner. This one's hard to find. So I know that the LMC bookstore has copies. If you don't have a copy yet, I would encourage you to get it. This book has been out for quite a while, Homegoing. You can find this used probably at, I know Half Price Books here in Concord had some copies, but you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a brand new version of this if you don't want to. Okay, I think that's it for now. Sorry this video was so long. I promise subsequent videos will not be as long. I'm looking forward to our semester together, and hopefully I will meet you on Discord soon, or see you in office hours, or in a conference. So have a great first week, everybody.